Hey, welcome back to Now We Drive. Firstly, let me just apologise to you for the inordinate amount of time that it's been since my last video, and I apologise for that. But I think I alluded to it in a previous video. A family bereavement, which did knock me upside down for a little while. I decided to pack the family up in the car, and we drove down to Spain for what turned out to be quite an extended break for nearly 11 weeks. So lots of sun, lots of golf, a few beers, etc. Recharged the batteries, and we're now back. And hopefully we can continue to bring you some updates on what's going on the Now We Drive channel. In today's episode, a very quick update, not much to update on the Mazda, lots to update you about on the Audi A3 convertible, the white one, and also we've got a new car for the channel. Well, I say a new car, you'll understand why I'm laughing when we get onto that one, but we'll update you all those three items today on this episode of Now We Drive. So firstly, the Mazda, the MX5. Great little car. I'm sure you've seen the previous videos. Not a great deal of damage. A little bit beyond my capability. It needed to be pulled out. A new quarter panel needed to be put in, welded, etc. So I took it to a local garage. When was it? April? Maybe May. Maybe in May. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. So while I was away in Marbella for all this time, I was ringing them. How are you getting on? We haven't got round to it yet. Anyway, subsequently, I get home last Tuesday, go around to see them, and basically they just cut the corner off. So they've been away on holiday. The guy that's doing the welding's been off sick. He's coming back next week. Anyway, they promised me it's going to be ready within the next 10 to 14 days. So 4 months to do a little bit of welding work is a little bit over the top. I don't know what you think, but yeah, not my idea of good customer service. But anyway, once they've done that, I've got the bumper, I've got the light and stuff I can put on, and I'll do an update on that video as soon as I get the car back. And there's also a little bit of suspension damage, which I showed you on the video. So I've got those parts. Again, I'll put them on. Pretty straightforward, but we'll update that in one video. I'm not going to mod it. I'm just going to clean it up, take those silly stickers off, put it up, and get rid of it. And it should be a really cheap car that we're going to get out there. So that'll be a nice update. So let's talk about this, a really lovely Audi A3. Again, I'm sure you've seen the videos of the white convertible. You've known the stories about the back window getting smashed in, and we're still yet to get it back, but we have got some video for you of some work being done, and I'm pleased to announce that the back is pretty much finished. And let's have a look at. Let me show you what it looked like before we took it to the crash repairs, shall we? I will show you a little bit more structurally, but I was taking a really close look. Now, I've had the guy around who does the pulling, and he's telling me that all of this here should quite easily come out, because what he'll do, he'll basically put his dozer onto this bit here, pull all of this out, and then we're going to weld a whole new panel here, which holds this, the boot latch, and that will be all that will fit all very nicely back into place. He said this is not a difficult one to put right. Now, looking at the body lines, obviously I've got a new bonnet on order, a new boot, on order. Now, the only two body lines I was worried about is this one here, which is where the convertible part, obviously hood falls down, compared to here. And the guy was telling me this is pretty standard, because if you can imagine, the impact here has pushed everything over this side, causing the wing just to move over a few mil. And he said as he starts to pull this out, this will become a lot less tension on this side, and this will pull much back into shape. So as you can see, that's the old footage. It was a pretty bad ding in the back, right? So then we took it to PJ Crash Repairs in Potts Bar. Paul's a really nice guy, so is his son. They're really great family business, and honest, and always very great communications, keeping me up to speed with everything that's going on with the car. We had a bit of a problem getting the bumper, not only the right bumper, but also a complete bumper, because The Audi bumpers, they actually fit onto a frame that if you buy it from Audi, you can't buy the frame separately from Audi, but you can get them from the breakers. And to get the exact right one took us 5 or 6 weeks to get, which really did slow down the whole process. And the reason it slowed the whole process down is because Paul wanted to make sure, because he was pulling everything out, he wanted to make sure that everything lined up. So he fitted the boot with the new boot and the new hinges to make sure it was all lined. And when he started to pull it out, the lines started to straighten up, but he needed the bumper on to make sure the lines were absolutely perfect so he can then put the floor in, etc., etc. So we had to wait a long time for that. So let's head straight to PJ Crash Repairs down in Potter's Bar. This is Paul setting up the dozer to pull out the back of the Audi, and here's Paul just making a few final adjustments. These are videos and stills that Paul sent me, so apologies on any of the quality. As you can see, it's a pretty big bit of machinery, and it's quite a long process, drilling holes, putting in clamps and plates and pulling it slowly over time, because you rush it, you start pulling stuff too far out the way, and it can get, it is a very specialist job. And this is a video that they shot with one of the holes being pulled, and you've got to be very, very careful and very considered when you're pulling it in a very controlled manner, because you could rip right through the bodywork and have to, start again really. You can see that little plate there at the top that they've actually drilled through, and they just slowly edge it out bit by bit, piece by piece, dent by dent, and yeah, they did a fantastic job. If you see towards the end of the video, which we'll show you, here is this putting a bit more of a clamp on. So you drill holes and then you put the clamp on, and as I say, it's a real job of trial and error when it comes to trying to straighten out creased metal. Yeah, as you can see, that thing is really connected very, very solidly to the bottom of the chassis. And here it is when it's been pulled out. As you can see, that Paul cut the right hand side chassis leg because it was quite badly bent, and it was in a pretty bad way. So there you can see, obviously Paul's been really busy, and there was quite a lot of work to be done. And I popped round there the day after I got home. That was on Wednesday, and let's have a look at the car as it looks now, pretty much ready to be reassembled and rolled out. Big worry, as I said to you before, was that line down the right hand side here, which is absolutely spot on, really, really close. Now there's been no adjustment on the booters yet. Paul just said that there's lots of adjustment left there, but he is super happy with the lines. New floor in, the chassis leg needs to go in as well. That's been welded. There's a little bit of work left just here where that needs to be just panel beated out, but that's it. Again, that's pretty straightforward. But the brand new floor, there's a new back plate goes on. All the underneath's been stone chipped, and that's ready to be over painted. But overall, I think it looks in fantastic shape and ready to be, as I say, reassembled and rolled out of the paint shop, which I'm very excited about. So at last, Paul, we're nearly there with the Audi. Paul's saying probably another 10 days to spray the floor plan, to make sure I put a new chassis leg on there to hold the crash bar, a new rear exhaust pieces going in because that was pushed in when it was smashed, and that left-hand side area where the light goes in, that needs to be straightened out. It doesn't need to be perfect because it's not really a supportive area. It's just about holding the light and getting that square. So they'll sort that out. So hopefully we'll have it back out of the paint shop really, really soon, 10 to 14 days. I'll buy a new front bumper, which again, there's still that damage it's not going to affect it driving, but I want to make it look absolutely perfect because it is. Again, it's a car that I'm going to keep for a little while because it'd be a nice car just to use for the family, really. So the final part of this video is about the new car we have for the channel, and unfortunately it's going to be a very quick new car for the channel because Copart didn't advertise the car correctly. So let me give you a bit of backstory. A friend of mine come to me, rang me while I was away. He said, look, I want a little car. I want a car, put a load of fishing gear in it. I want something automatic, so something, you know, with a little bit of specification to it. Anyway, we started chatting, had a look at Copart, and we found a Volvo Estate V40, the R design one. So it's got the nice leather seats, it's got the blue metallic paint, it's got the full R design body kit, the nice alloys, really nice looking car. And look, let's have a look at the advert that I initially looked at, just to give you some idea of why I bid on this car. So here is the car in question. As I said, I did say it was a V40. I apologise for that. It's actually a V50, but I'm not the Volvo aficionado. So it ticked a lot of my friends' boxes. Automatic, low mileage for a 2010. Given that these Volvo 2-litre diesel engines go for an absolute age. It would go to the moon and back. You regularly see things like this on eBay, etc., with 300,000 miles on it. So 67,000 miles, it's barely run in, really. Looking around at the damage, so you've got the front bonnet, for the cost of a front bonnet, which I think was about 70 quid from a Breakers. Easy to change. Front bumper, and again, very cheap, 80, 90 quid for a front bumper. You've got a driver's headlight, and while I've got all the front bits off, I was going to replace the wing as well, because that's got a bit of a ding in it. Driver's side wing mirror, not a problem. These side skirts, 40 quid for a pair. They need to be replaced. Again, a very simple fix. Nothing really on the passenger side. It was in all good shape. The rear bumper, again, this was one of the more expensive parts. This was about 150 quid, but it's actually in the boot. You can't see it, but there is a bumper in the boot, which was actually in pretty good shape. Obviously, the insurance assessors had taken that off to have a look at. Really nice car from looking in. My favourite Volvo colour, this blue. It's got the roof rails, it's got all the R design bits and pieces on it, the nice alloys, the nice two-tone interior. But looking back now, what is this? Do you know what that is? It's a manual gear stick. Yep. And it says auto. Interesting. Where my friend doesn't drive manual cars. Yeah. So you can start to see where the problem may lay here. Anyway, I'd noticed that at the time. I was looking around the damage. Bid on it, and I won it for 1,900 quid, which, yeah, I thought was a decent price, given these go for, 4.5, 5K or something like that on eBay, Auto Trader, etc. So there is the Copart ad for the V50. So as you can see, obviously it's some damage, needs a rear bumper, needs a bonnet, needs a headlight, needs some running boards, needs a front wing. And all of these parts are readily available in the right colour for, anywhere between 50 to 100 quid per part. They're really easy to get. A lot of them are being local, so I could have driven the car up there, and the car was a run and drive. So this week, on Wednesday, the auction came up. He said he had about 3k to spend. So I was thinking, if I can get it on hammer for 2-1, something like that, we'd got well enough money to spend on the bits and pieces to have it repaired, and it was run and drive, so it shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, we won it for 1,900 quid. Out the door, 22.30, I think it was, and got in contact with my transport guy. He picked it up the next day. Fantastic. So Friday, I get a call from the transport guy. I'll be at your place, my garage, at 6 o'clock. Now, anyone who lives in London, South East area, Hertfordshire, etc., you'll know Friday afternoon this week, the heavens opened and it absolutely peed down for about 3 or 4 hours, and it was torrential. And unfortunately, at that time, the guy dropped the car off. It was really, really peeing down. So back at the trailer, car looked all right. Obviously, it was very wet. But he said to me, look, he goes, you're going to notice something. And I looked under the car, and there was something hanging down with a load of wires in it. So I looked in, and it was actually the car's ECU that was actually hanging down from the car. I thought, Okay, all right, so obviously with the front end collision, it's dislodged and it's hanging down. So the transport guy put his charger pack on it, started first time, engine sounded sweet, really, really nice. 2 litre diesel, sounded fantastic. So he's got it off the trailer, reversed it back, he's got no problem at all. I weighed him out his delivery money, he shot off. So now I want to get it into my front of my garage. So I've driven the car a little bit, and because I've been standing around for a little while, I'm a little bit wet, getting a bit peed off because I want to get in the dry and get the car parked up and get back home to have some dinner, etc. In a bit of a rush, didn't really think about the ECU, and as I drove it up towards the garage, and the ECU subsequently has gone under the front wheel, and I've run over the ECU, and the ECU's come off, and the car's died completely. And well, I've now got to try and push the car because my garage is on a bit of an incline. I've got to try and push the car up it, and Volvos are not the lightest things in the world. Anyway, managed to get the car at least pushed to one side, and I thought, you know what, I'll come back when it's dry. So went back this morning to try and sort it out. Anyway, look, besides the point I was trying to make initially was that when I first got in the car, I looked down, gear stick, manual. I'm like, what? No, it had said automatic. Anyway, got in contact with Copart. They said, yeah, no problem at all. We fully understand it is an error on our behalf. What do you want to do about it? I said, look, to be honest, the guy, my friend, he specified he wanted an automatic car. He wants an automatic car. He doesn't want manual. So they're coming to pick the car up on Tuesday to take it back to Sandy. I bought it from Wiz Beach, but it's going to go back to Sandy because it's my closest Copart yard. So yeah, I went back this morning to try and put the ECU back on, but actually I think driving over it has not done it any favours whatsoever, because I jumped it off my son's Polo, and it was turning over great, but we didn't get spark. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. So anyway, it's going to go back, and I've got to now look for another estate car of some sort for my friend. So yeah, there is the story of the Volvo that never was. Anyway, that concludes another episode of Now We Drive. Again, I guarantee it won't be as long for you for the next update. And again, apologies. Thanks for sticking around and bearing with me. I like I said, it's been a bit of a tough time for me, but we're back. We've got some stuff going on. I've got a few on my watch list for this week. There's a couple of bits I'm looking at that are quite interesting, and I might do an update for you with a bit of live bidding and a bit of a more in-depth look at my watch list and why I like these cars particularly. And I'll bring you that video in the week. So that'll be a nice update. And obviously, as soon as I get some more information on the Mazda and the Audi, I'll give them to you directly. So yeah, thanks for joining us here again on Now We Drive. Stay safe, look after yourself, and I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon.